There's another layer as to why conversations about football get so emotional. And no, it's not about the sport itself. It's what football actually represents to a lot of people. Because for many, football isn't just something they watch. It's something that's been around them for a long time. And over time, it starts to represent something more. There are certain things in our society that we don't evaluate all the time. They just live in the background. Over time, they stop feeling like choices, and they start to feel like givens. Football is one of them. So when it's observed, even neutrally, the mind doesn't hear curiosity. It hears disruption. That's why emotion shows up before thought. One thing football does especially well is that it creates structure. Inside that structure, behaviors that would feel wrong elsewhere suddenly become acceptable. Aggression becomes discipline, force becomes effort, impact becomes achievement. Most people understand this intuitively, but the moment you pause and notice the contrast between the arena and elsewhere, something inside of you shifts. Not because anything is being condemned, but because awareness around you changes how things are felt. Here's a subtle point that matters. When people rely heavily on something emotional, observation could feel like judgment, even when it's not. If something were truly insignificant, noticing it just wouldn't matter. But when something quietly holds identity, routine, release, even questioning with calm framing can feel uncomfortable. You don't have to say something is wrong. You could just notice how it's being allowed. This is where comparison to religion starts making sense. Not because football is a religion, but because how humans relate to meaning. Systems that last tend to have rituals, shared time, shared meaning, and clear moral rules. Football has all of that. Game day, stadiums, we instead of I. Rules that turn chaos into order. So when something like that is questioned morally, even indirectly, the reaction usually isn't analytical. It's emotional. Because you're not touching the activity, you're touching what it represents. And this explains something people often misunderstand. Strong reactions don't come from indifference. They come from investment. People don't protect what's meaningless to them. They protect what gives their life structure. That doesn't mean they're wrong. It means it matters. This isn't about taking anything away. It's about understanding how humans decide what's acceptable versus not, and how context quietly shapes morality. Once you see that, the reactions stop becoming surprising, and they become predictable. If you haven't seen the first video, this is how this conversation started.